Experience a new level of luxury on Topsail Island at Saltwater Suites in Surf City, North Carolina. With no nightly minimum, you can enjoy short getaways or an extended stay. Each suite features luxury bedding, full kitchens with dining tables and dishwashers. And all suites other than the 3 ADA suites have full-size washers and dryers. And don't forget about those beautiful ocean views. 24/7 self-check-in provides a hassle-free and seamless experience. Saltwater Suites is the perfect choice for your next beach getaway. Book your next Topsail visit at saltwatertopsail.com or call 910-886-4818. Saltwater Suites, Topsail Island's premier luxury hospitality experience. Welcome to the Topsail Insider Podcast, where you can hear all about the businesses and events in the beautiful coastal towns of the greater Topsail area of North Carolina. Coming up, today Michael is hosting Topsail Insider's interview with Mr. John Puckett, owner of a clean water company. If your home suffers from hard water, you're going to want to stay tuned to learn more about whole home water filtration systems, tankless water heaters, forever chemicals, and more. Here we go.
Welcome to Topsail Insider Podcast. My name is Michael, and I'm today's Topsail Insider host. With me today is John Puckett. He is the owner of a clean water company. Welcome, John, and thank you for joining me.
I'm happy to be here.
So tell me a little bit about a clean water company. What kinds of services and features do you provide for potential customers?
A clean water company's core mission is to bring clean water to as many homes and businesses as we possibly can. We offer water filtration systems like conditioners, softeners, reverse osmosis. On a residential scale, we offer water filtration systems for restaurants, coffee shops, the such, as well as wells, well pumps, and very often water heaters.
It seems to me that services like water filtration, plumbing in general, it seems like might be a bit of a crowded environment. I'm wondering what motivated you to start this kind of business, to enter what is possibly a full field of service providers.
I think the field of service providers that we have currently in the market is part of the reason we started this mission. We wanted to find an affordable water filtration solution, as well as we wanted to bring a better customer experience for the typical homeowner when it comes to inviting a plumber into your home, having them quote a project, and then doing the work. More often than not, depending on the service provider, the experience is not always perfect. Our entire idea on the residential side of things and on the business owner side of things is the customer experience. We want customers and business owners to enjoy interacting with our company. We want to inform them and help them at the same time.
Sure. I personally am looking at water filtration. We're in Hampstead here, and anybody that's listening or watching this that is familiar with Hampstead knows that water in our area is horrible. We sit here and look at our showers and the crud that's all over the shower heads, even the glass in the showers. It gets this film on it that takes magic to get off. And then thinking about it personally, I worry about damage to our appliances. Is there stuff happening that I don't know about until it's catastrophic and it just fails? What do you think about the water in this area? You're servicing a lot of areas. Is our water particularly bad?
Yeah, Mike, everything that you just described to me would lead me to believe that you have hard water in your home. The scale buildup on your appliances and your fixtures from the exterior is clear. And you already know that if you can see it on the outside of your fixture, it's definitely affecting the inside of your plumbing system. We went into a man's home 2 days ago in Sneed's Ferry, and the hard water in his home broke the water filtration system within his refrigerator. So everyone wants to drink water out of the refrigerator, and that's typically the first step someone will start taking towards having clean water supply. If you don't clean the water that goes into that fridge, if you can't soften it, if you can't condition it, it will damage your refrigerator, it will damage your dishwasher, it will damage all the fixtures in your home. You're cutting the life expectancy of your fixtures and appliances in half.
Yeah, and that's one of those hidden things that you don't know, again, until it becomes catastrophic and you got water leaking all over the place. And it becomes a totally different problem. What areas do you service?
Right now, we span from Leland to Morehead City. We can cover most of the North Carolina coast. We're not really in the Outer Banks and Southport right now, but we'd like to be. We're based out of Topsail Island, really Sneed's Ferry, but Topsail Island is our home. We treat Surf City the same way. We like Jacksonville and Wilmington both need our help, and we're there.
Just talking about you a little bit. You're relatively young. You said yourself your background is in plumbing. And when I think about people that are working the trades and plumbers in particular, it seems just as a plumber going and doing pipe fitting and things like this, you could probably make a pretty good career out of that. Was there anything in particular that motivated you to focus on clean water and clean water delivery for homes and residences?
When I moved to the coast, it's the first thing people tell you: don't drink the water. And I drove up and down 17 for 2 years working as a commercial plumbing superintendent. Mm-hmm. I've been in the trade for 5 years. I am 23 years old. I got into this right out of high school.
Sure.
It is a great opportunity for young men and women to pursue a career that can pay a decent wage. Mm-hmm. You can live a decent lifestyle, a comfortable lifestyle, even working in the trades, HVAC, electrical, plumbing, all the above. Mm-hmm. But like I said, when we moved here and I drove up and down 17 and I knew everyone was having this issue, I got an idea, I guess you could say. I just said, okay, if no one can afford to pay $8,500 for a full home system, and I can probably find a good deal for people right there, somewhere in the middle, I can be the good guy and still pay my bills. I think that's a business right there, because when you start a business to solve a problem for the community rather than to make money for yourself, you know you're going to succeed.
Well, I think that reflects a degree of integrity too. You know, you're working for doing something good for people, and to your point, making profit, but a reasonable profit. Anybody that does anything should be entitled to making some money, but as you said, doing it for the people for the right reasons. It's interesting because you talked about the trades, and something that I remember growing up with is you're not really going to be successful in life unless you get that college degree, right? Mm-hmm. And you see it in the news now. And I think in particular with people that are strapped with student loans, and some of the arguments against getting those loans is you might study business, you might study underwater basket weaving, whatever it might be, but are you going to be able to pay that loan back? And is it really worth it? But what I'm curious about is, with that being said, you hear folks like Mike Rowe, who's a TV host. He talks about the trades and how important that is. What are your thoughts about trades in general? In your particular case, plumbing, how is that a good approach? Or is there a demand for trades?
There's absolutely a demand for trades in the United States right now, nationwide. Any plumber in the country can move anywhere in the country and have a job. I know that to be a fact. I would highly encourage people, especially young people, coming out of high school, coming out of college. If you're in high school right now and you don't really like the whole idea of doing 4 more years of that.
Sure.
If you don't really like the idea of cramming for a paper at 12 a.m., if you're okay with a little bit of hard work and fair pay for that hard work, I think you'd be okay in the trades. Mm-hmm. I think it'd be a great thing. I think it'd build the character of our country.
That's an interesting point, because I think that is, at least from my perspective, is what seems to be missing. That kind of takes me to an interesting point. So you're younger, you're Gen Z generation, and there's jokes about how lazy the younger generations in general are. So that's one thing. And most of the people that work for you, I think, are about your age. But you also started this business during COVID. And I'm just curious, what motivated you to start something during a crazy time like that?
I got in the workforce right before COVID, about 18 months prior to COVID. COVID affected me in my personal career path.
Sure.
I was an essential employee at 19 years old. I was driving around when no one else was. We helped a lot of people doing service plumbing. I was working as a new construction and service. I was working for a 3-man company at the time out of Kernersville, North Carolina. And I'll say I learned more through COVID than I did outside of COVID. I'll say, because I was able to be in more positions, in more situations than I ever would have been without it, because there was a demand and not enough supply of workers and competent individuals and professionals to meet that demand, right? And so going into hospitals, going into nursing homes during COVID to repair major plumbing systems was something that I was a part of, and I'm very fortunate to have been a part of that.
Interesting. I didn't even think about it that way, because that, to your point, that's a lot of exposure to a lot of different environments.
Absolutely. I've built VAs. I worked on the Duke Hospital. Done nursing facilities. We've done hotels, apartment complexes. I've done residential plumbing as well, but that's my background. So this is actually simplifying my daily thought pattern on plumbing into being able to focus on our social core mission, right? Because it is, while we are a plumbing company, our mission is mostly based in social need. So it's a social issue. And it's a government issue, a water supply issue. It's a human rights issue. But at the end of the day, you're not going to get this point across without the social side of this. And so that's why we're here and we're filming this podcast, and we're trying to get the message out, and we appreciate you giving us this platform.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
You asked me a question. I didn't really get around to answering it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the stigma around Generation Z and the millennials. Okay. I'd say this. I'd say Generation Z has been led to believe that you can get something for nothing.
Interesting.
The U.S. education system, from the time you turn 12 years old, is pushing you to get a college loan from the federal government in order to pursue a career for 4 more years and stay out of the workforce and be in debt when you enter the workforce.
Interesting.
It is actually, our generation was encouraged to take 5 steps back before you ever even hit the starting trip. They encouraged us to put ourselves behind the 8 ball before we ever even hit the start line. And I'd say that anyone who enters the trade would avoid having college student loans and debt on top of their head. They might be able to afford a nicer SUV instead of...
Good point, yeah.
And you have 24-year-olds starting families and they're foremen on construction sites. He needs an SUV, and if he doesn't have that student loan, he can afford that SUV, and his credit might allow him to do it. And we need to really think about getting out of academia as a career path, and we need to be looking into building our country as a career path.
That's an interesting point, and I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, I think, unfortunately, the stigma is younger generations being lazy, but to your point, they're starting out at a decrement.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
From romantic couples retreats to multi-family beach weeks, Turtle Shell Properties offers 26 vacation rentals across Topsail Island. Choose from a range of meticulously renovated and newly built private homes and rental units by real estate developer and #1 best-selling author of Are We There Yet?, Jeffrey Peterson. Whether you're looking for a cozy, tranquil bungalow or spacious luxury, you'll enjoy stylish, well-maintained rentals, professional property management, and a top-tier cleaning crew that goes above and beyond. And they're all dog-friendly. Turtle Shell Properties has something for every size, every style, and every budget. Book direct and save at turtleshellrentals.com or call 910-328-2341. Turtle Shell Properties. Stay your way on Topsail Island.
I feel even worse for millennials than I do for Gen Z. Gen Z got to grow up with technology. They got to see the mistakes that were made with the millennial generation, and they got to see the outcome. We got to see it all play out right in front of us, and now here we are in 23, and we're entering the market with a whole new mindset. And honestly, I think I would like to be able to say that we can lean on Generation Z, and I hope that we go through some sort of mutation as a country that might toughen us up a little bit, because if we could toughen up this generation between 18 and 28 right now and get them ready for some serious stuff, I think we might be okay.
You'd be the next greatest generation. We're going to talk a little bit about residential services, because obviously as a homeowner, my wife and I are very interested in the quality of the water. When it comes to interacting with a prospective customer, how does that engagement typically happen? I'm wondering, are people calling up because they've had some kind of significant incident in their home, or they're worried or something's broken and they've been told you got bad water? Or is it people just curious, pinging you off the internet or other media?
It's probably a combination of both. It's internet, it is phone calls, it is digital presence, it's social media. It's talking to business owners. It's talking to homeowners every day. It's word of mouth. Some of the best clients we have are word of mouth.
Okay.
When I say best clients, I mean they treat us with the same respect we treat them, and we appreciate that very much. Because there's a stigma around bringing a trades professional into your home. Like we talked about earlier, people are afraid. People are worried. People might not have trust. And we have to build that trust before they even call us. And so that's really, when it comes to reaching out to people, when it comes to, there's no cold calls, but we spend a lot of time on information. We try to spread information, build the trust, let you know, we're just here to help. We're here to tell you what's going on. And if you decide to make a move, give us a call.
I'm also curious, how do I know that I actually need water filtration?
The #1 way to know is calling us and having us just run a test on your water. We're not going to come out and do a magic show. and show you all these different samples of water. We're going to come out, we're going to run one test strip on your tap water from your kitchen sink. It's going to tell us the pH levels, the chloramine levels. It's going to tell us sediment. It's tell us carbon. There's a whole list, right?
Okay.
And we go down that list and we let you know the levels at which your water is at. Typically, your pH, your iron, your carbon levels, that'll tell you whether your water is hard or not.
Okay.
Okay, and that is where we start. Got
it. You have a test strip, so that is pretty much immediate results. It's not a sample I have to send off somewhere and wait 2 weeks or something like that, right?
No. Now, we do offer that. We have EPA-certified laboratories, and we can do a water test. It costs $175, and we send it to a CDC and EPA-approved lab here in North Carolina. They test it. They send you back a very lengthy and detailed list on exactly. They're the biochemists, right?
Yeah.
And so they can really get into the weeds on it. And that was very important for us to make that partnership with those labs and with the companies that do that kind of testing, right? Because you can't just get your hands on tests like that from Lowe's, right? Yeah, now that Lowe's test strip, it'll tell you it'll tell you if your water's hard. It'll tell you if you need a softener. But to tell you, some people really want to know. They want to know every chemical that's in the water. And I want to be able to offer that to them. So we outsourced with these companies.
Okay. Very cool. Now, when I was looking at your website, it looks like there's a lot of different technologies and solutions that are available. And I think for me personally, and I think also for our listeners and viewers, is to help understand a little bit about what is it about these things that is unique in terms of what they do. Looking at the website, we'll probably just go through these things. There's reverse osmosis. There's whole home water filtering, water softening. And to me, these are three things. Are they unique? Do they provide a unique service, or are they stacked? Each one kind of compounds upon each other to provide a better water quality. What's the difference between reverse osmosis and whole home filtering in terms of how they would be used, how they'd be deployed within a home?
That's a great place to start, Mike. So a reverse osmosis system typically will go under your kitchen sink.
Okay.
It'll be your drinking water source. And right now we're offering reverse osmosis with a mineralizer filter that adds a little bit more of the minerals that you need for your general body's health, right? Now, that's just a drinking water. That's just under the sink. That's one part of this whole kit. But to protect your home, a conditioner is the first step to protecting your home. Now, if you don't have hard water, I'm not going to recommend a water softener because you wouldn't need it. But if you're on city water, 9 times out of 10, you need a conditioner because that fights the chlorine, the chloramine, the manganese, and the carbon. Now, that is a very good system. It is by AO Pro. So AO Smith is a United States company. They have an office in Bristol, Tennessee. If I need to go over to AO Smith and march on their front door and say, hey, look, we got a problem, they're going to answer it, and we're going to talk to them that day. But their Pro Line series is very reputable. I did a lot of research. It's the most economic solution without sacrificing the quality of the water. So on city water, you're typically going to get a conditioner. And it's just a cylinder. It goes in your garage or wherever your water main comes into your home. It doesn't take up that much space. We like to put it next to the water heater. It will protect your system, your water heater, your appliances, and your skin and your health. Right? That's for showering. That's for your whole home. Now, if your pH levels are off, you have hard water, we would recommend a softener. Okay. And in some places, particularly like Carolina Beach, Topsail Island, we stack those two systems. So we'll run typically a sediment filter. That'll be the first stage. That'll be the first thing your water hits when it comes to the house. Just gets all the big stuff out of the way. And then secondarily would be the conditioner. And that gets all the city stuff, all the manganese, the carbon, gets that out of the way. That's your stage 2. And then if you had hard water, we'd run it through a softener and get it pristine, exactly where we want it for general everyday use in your home. And then that would be it. And if you would like a drinking water filter, have it put in. But if you do those 3 things and you got a refrigerator, you won't need a RO system. Because if that refrigerator is getting clean water to it, it doesn't have to do that much work. You know there's a little filter in that fridge. But if you don't help that filter out, it can't do much for you.
Yeah. We replace ours about every 4 or 5 months. I have heard about, and I have no idea if this is true or if it's just something that I picked up and I'm completely off on, the water softeners, the ones that I'm familiar with, that I remember as a kid, I had bags of salt that I threw in there. And my assumption is that you can't drink that water. Am I off on that? Or is there different types of water softeners?
A water softener is not for drinking water.
Okay.
It is for home use. It's for protection of your plumbing pipes, your plumbing system, and then your skin, health, teeth, hair, all the above. That's what your water softener really is protecting. But
Sure.
water softener doesn't deliver drinking water.
Okay.
Drinking water is from that reverse osmosis system with the mineralizer. Gives you good, healthy drinking water. You could have alkaline water. You could have smart water out of your faucet if you like. And it's unlimited. And that's what we try to bring to people.
Okay. Now, in terms of reverse osmosis, we talked about the whole home filtering and then the water softeners a little bit. If I'm looking at purchasing it, obviously there is the initial capital expense of just acquiring and installing, having you all come out and put it in place. What does a typical maintenance after the install look like? Is that something that I'm going to have to, every couple of months, I got to go tweak some things or do some things, or are they fairly self-sufficient? What typically is involved in maintaining those types of systems?
When it comes to a reverse osmosis system, depending on the quality of your water and how many filters you have in front of that reverse osmosis system to protect that system, you could be changing your filter out anywhere from every 6 to 18 months.
Okay.
And that's those 3 and 4 stage filters, and you change out all 3 of them. We come in for the first 2 years. Clean Water Company will come back and swap your filters out free of charge. It's included in the initial purchase of your clean water system.
That's pretty cool.
Absolutely, because we want you to keep seeing our faces, and we want you to know that we're your partners in maintaining your home's health and your plumbing system's health, as well as your water. If our core mission was to bring you clean water and then we stopped helping you right after we left, we wouldn't be doing our job. We will come and change the salt out for you. Now, we typically have homeowners purchase their own salt, but if we need to monitor it and tweak it, when we're there to change out your reverse osmosis system, we're taking a look at that softener. We're looking at your salt and your water levels. We're doing a regeneration cycle on it just to check everything out while we're there.
Okay.
We want to make sure you have a quality system and that nothing's going wrong. Because like I said, if it does go wrong, first of all of our systems come with warranties. They vary depending on the system that you purchase, but they all come with extended warranties backed by a company based in the United States who builds these products in the United States. That's one of the biggest reasons we go.
I like hearing that. Now, I'm wondering, is there value from a home equity perspective? In other words, if we had a home and, oh, by the way, we threw in filtering and softening and all the things that we needed, and especially if we could say that we've been doing this for a while, so we could say that, yeah, our stuff in our house is pretty clean or pretty pristine. Is there value for a homeowner in terms of offering that up as our home comes with filtering?
100%.
Okay.
It increases the baseline value of your home. So plenty of our clients are rental property owners. They own condos on the beach. They own townhouses on the beach. And they say, okay, first of all, if they're on Airbnb or Vrbo and they're deciding where to go at Carolina Beach, and they can say, oh, well, our place can provide you with clean water that doesn't stink, then, hey, that's a reason to shop and rent that particular property. Just as the same as if you're going to purchase a home and you knew that I know that if I'm a renter right now, I rent, I'm 23 years old, so I'm waiting to buy. But when I do decide to buy, if we looked at a house and it had a water filtration system for the last 5 years, 10 years, like you said, versus one that didn't have one at all, I'd know, first of all, the one with the water filtration system is in better shape. The fixtures, the appliances, the water heater, the pipes, everything in that house is likely to last longer and be of better quality than that has been being deteriorated by corrosion and scale.
Sure. Now, you talked about hot water heaters, both for where you're going to install next to, if that's where the water's coming in. One of the personal things for me also is interested in the tankless hot water heaters. I think the one that we have is a pretty decent brand, and it's a 50-gallon, I believe. But we all run into the situation where the kids are in the shower, they spend 40 minutes in there, and all of a sudden there's no hot water. I feel like tankless hot water heaters are a good way to go. And when I was looking at your website, the ones that you talked about were specifically gas, but do you also do electric? Or is that something, is there a value in going either way on that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that all varies based on your property, based on the location of your property. So if you had a condo on the 3rd floor in Carolina Beach, I'm going to recommend an electric tankless. It takes up a lot less space. You don't have to run gas 50 foot into the air out of a propane tank that you have to refill 6 times a year, right? Because everyone's using a bunch of hot water. I'm going to recommend an electric. But outside of that specific scenario, I will not recommend an electric tankless water heater.
Interesting.
I would
Okay.
always recommend a gas tankless water heater. Whether it be natural gas is definitely my first recommendation. If you have to have propane, that's okay. We can work with you.
Okay.
But it just takes a little bit of extra work and investment, because if you don't have a gas service at your house, you would have to install a storage tank for your propane, and then you'd have to bring out that gas company and let them run all your gas piping up too. And then you'd call us and we'd come in and put in your tankless heater for you. But I would definitely recommend a tankless water heater to anyone that's interested. And this is why. Because when you have a 50, 40-gallon tank heater, like a standard heater that everyone knows about, right? If you put a clean water system in front of that heater, but that heater is 10 years old and you've been running dirty water for it all those years, you got dirty water inside that heater. And then what you're doing is you're running clean water into a hotbed for bacteria, microbes, scale, corrosion.
Sure.
In fact, we were in Carolina Beach and we cut open one of those water heaters, and you would not want to see what it looks like.
Oh, boy.
Right? So when people do put in clean water systems, if they don't want a tankless, we recommend they swap out that tank. You would have a clean heater afterwards. And so that's a big part of making sure that, because when you shower, it's all hot water. So that's what's rubbing on your skin. I don't want to see anybody shoot themselves in the foot and make the investment of putting a water filtration system in.
Interesting.
But they get it put in by somebody who's not really a plumber, and they can't do the things that we can do as a company. They don't have the knowledge base that we have about water and plumbing systems in general. And I would always recommend a tankless, because there's no storage. There's nowhere for that water to sit.
Okay.
It's always moving. It's always on the move. And if it's always on the move, it can't collect dust.
Interesting. I even thought about replacing the tank, because it wouldn't occur to me. Now, something else that I noticed on your website, you do restaurant services. You even mentioned it earlier. Do restaurants have unique needs for filtration in particular?
Absolutely. I grew up in a restaurant.
Okay.
My dad owned a restaurant in Greensboro. It was a seafood restaurant, and he owned it for 20 years. I saw him bring that old man plumber he knew into that restaurant, and he was there at least once a month, right?
Oh, my gosh.
There's always something going on in a restaurant. And so I understand the plight of a restaurant owner. And that's who I'm dealing with when I walk in these restaurants. I'm dealing with the owners of these restaurants. And it can be overwhelming when you have 6 faucets in your back kitchen. They're all dripping all day long. They all have scale buildup on them. You need a company that understands not only what's going on with your water and your plumbing, but what's going on with your business. That faucet doesn't get turned off every day. We need to make sure it stays turned off. We need to clean up your fixtures. You need to be offering your clients, your customers, a better experience. And not only that, the health department requires water filtration for their ice makers.
Okay.
But it does not specify what kind of ice maker filter to use. Now,
interesting. I would have just assumed there'd be like one.
Just one stage sediment filter. And that's what a lot of people are doing. They're putting them in themselves. And that's great. If they don't have the budget right now, at least you're doing something, right?
Sure.
But we also have brought an exceptional product to these business owners. We brought a better product at a better price. And it's from Pentair. Pentair is a great product. It's a great company. But they do specifically work with restaurants through their Everpure systems. And so that's what we recommend for restaurant owners. And we do ice maker filters. We do your drink machine filters. So for your soda machines, everything that runs through those soda lines needs to be clean.
I imagine so.
You ever have a Sprite from a restaurant? It doesn't really quite taste like Sprite.
I've had that happen a couple times.
Times. You know why McDonald's Coke tastes so great? Is because they run a superior water filtration system to their competition.
Interesting.
That McDonald's Sprite is good, man.
Yeah.
I like it.
Makes me want to go out and get one.
Right? It does. And so we want to, every business owner should have that opportunity. Every business owner should have the information in front of them to make that decision for their customers.
Sure. So we talked a little bit about some of the issues with water in general. And I think anybody that pays attention, at least to local news, is familiar with, I would say mostly down in Wilmington, but we're starting to hear more about things coming up here. And that's PFAS and GenX. And I don't know if I want to go too far in the weeds, but I actually had to Google PFAS. It apparently is starting to be present in well water up here. Have you heard anything like that? Or is that something
Absolutely
in the area we need to worry about?
Yeah, it's something that people need to worry about, particularly people that live within a very close vicinity to the Cape Fear River.
Okay.
So Brunswick County, Castlehane, Rocky Point, and outskirts of Wilmington.
Okay.
That is a major deposit of chemicals, the GenX chemicals that everybody talks about. Like I said, I'm not going to portray myself to be a biochemist.
Okay.
Now, there are companies out there who are owned by biochemists, and they do massive amounts of water filtration on an agricultural basis. And it's a beautiful thing that they're doing. Now, I do know that these forever chemicals and these GenX chemicals, they've infiltrated the water table. We did a well for a gentleman named Gene. We stopped by his house, and he had a well that was just running nonstop, right? Mr. Gene is showering in dirty water. Mr. Gene needs clean water coming from that well. We're going to take a conditioner and we're going to take a sulfur buster. We're going to take as many products as we can over to Mr. Gene and help him out, right? Uh-huh. Now, there are plenty of NC State testing facilities that have tested different products from different companies, and there's a lot of great products out there. Puronics is one of them. I'll shout Puronics out right now. Okay. They're a great product. If you want to fix your GenX, fix your forever chemicals in that area, that's one of the top products to recommend. Now, we're not a Puronics dealer, but I have no shame in saying that they've got a good product. I will say, if you're in the Castlehane area, if you're in the Cape Fear River Basin at all, the way water tables work, it spreads out really far. And anyone within 50 miles to 100 miles, I'd say Fayetteville, everybody, they need to start looking at the quality of their water. They need someone to help them out, because you can't chase those homeowners down with dollar signs in your eyes. You need to be there to help them.
To your point, you need to educate them. I believe the North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality, I think on their website, they've got references to getting free testing, well testing. So I want to make that point for everybody that's interested in it. Future plans. Right now, you're obviously finding success in what you're doing, but where do you see a clean water in 5 or 10 years? What's kind of a potential pie in the sky for you as far as what you do?
I would like a clean water company to be present from Miami to DC. That's what we'd like to do.
Sure.
In all honesty. And I wouldn't like to bring my ego into this conversation at all, but I think we're capable. I think we have a really strong core team right now that believes in our mission. And if we can just stay mission focused, I believe our growth is exponential, and I don't think there's anything that could really stop us from reaching as many homeowners and business owners as possible.
That's fantastic. That's good to hear. Mission and vision are key to success. And it sounds like you've got a really good, strong handle on that. What is one thing you really want listeners to know about John Puckett, about a clean water company? Is there anything that you really want to leave in your listener and viewers' minds?
I'd say I want anyone who hears our name, a clean water company, here's my name, John Puckett, floating around out there. I want you to know that our main focus is to inform the community, to perform for the community with the skills that we have, and then to reform the situation we're in.
I like that. That's pretty cool. Now, I forgot to ask you, a clean water, where did that name come from?
That's okay. I say a clean water company is based around partnering with other small business owners who do what we do on a small scale every day. We want to partner with small business owners that do water filtration systems to work under a name that breeds trust. Okay. Right? And give them a team to play for, to not get stepped on by any big guys out there. We want to create a coalition of small business owners. And so the name A Clean Water Company is the perfect way for any small business owner who is getting tired of that dragging, invoicing, scheduling, building out their pipelines and going weeks without. Like, we want to keep them busy and take the stress off their shoulders and let them do what they love to do under the name that can increase their customer base.
Okay. I've got information, phone number and whatnot. I'll hand it to you if you like to just give your contact information, how people can reach you and get more information. I think you even kind of alluded to it, so I don't want to put words in your mouth, but if people are interested in kind of franchising or partnering with you, how they go about doing that.
Absolutely. You can reach us at our website, acleanwaterco.com. You can call the number on our Google listing. There's our business number. Okay. You can email us at hello@acleanwaterco.org. And We are currently rolling out our social media campaign across all social media platforms. We're going to have a very wide digital presence. We want to make it really easy for people to find us.
Okay, that's great. That's really good. So for our listeners, I want to thank you all for listening in. John, you're working from Jacksonville, but you're all the way down at the Wilmington area. So you'll be searchable both on Topsail Insider as well as our new Wilmington series. Just making sure everybody knows that. And I want to thank you for joining us today. This has been incredibly helpful for me personally, just to understand a bit more about this for our own home, but hopefully for the listeners as well, and the viewers as well. I think there's a lot here.
Thank you for having me. I'm extremely blessed to have been given this platform, and I'm glad I was able to come and be a part of this.
Hey, thank you for joining me today on Topsail Insider. If you liked today's episode, please hit the follow or subscribe button so that you can get the Topsail Insider podcast delivered automatically to whichever podcast platform you're listening on. And if you're a business owner and you wish to set up a pre-interview or you want to advertise, please email me at topsailinsider@gmail.com. Please also find and like the Topsail Insider Facebook page. I provide links to the new podcast there each week, as well as providing photos of the businesses that I'm highlighting, along with any of their upcoming events. So hey, let's do this again next week. I'll see you around Topsail.